Welcome to week 2. You made it through the foundation. You activated your observer consciousness. You learned to navigate timelines. But now we need to talk about something uncomfortable. Something that's sabotaging 90% of people who do this work. You're manifesting. You're visualizing. You're affirming. And nothing's happening. Or worse, the opposite of what you want keeps showing up. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. There's a frequency you're broadcasting 24 hours a day that you don't even know exists. And it's destroying everything you're trying to create. Today we fix that. Right now, in this exact moment, your body is generating an electromagnetic field. This field extends 8 feet in every direction around you. It carries information about your emotional state, your subconscious beliefs, your unresolved trauma, your deepest fears. And this field is what the quantum field actually responds to. Not your thoughts, not your affirmations, not your vision boards, your electromagnetic frequency. And if that frequency is misaligned with what you're trying to manifest, the universe will give you what you're broadcasting, not what you're thinking. This is where 90% of manifestation teachings completely fail you. They tell you to think positive. They tell you to visualize your desires. They tell you to affirm what you want. And you do all of that. You do it perfectly. You spend hours visualizing. You repeat affirmations daily. You create elaborate vision boards. And then nothing changes, or things get worse. And you start thinking manifestation doesn't work. You start doubting quantum physics. You start believing you're somehow broken or blocked. But you're not broken. The teachings are incomplete. Because they're addressing the wrong layer of reality. They're working with your conscious mind, which controls only 5% of your reality creation, while completely ignoring your subconscious frequency, which controls 95%. Your subconscious is broadcasting a signal 24/7, and that signal overrides everything your conscious mind tries to do. If you completed week 1, you understand that you're an observer collapsing quantum possibilities. You know that reality is flexible. You recognize that timelines exist in parallel. But knowing these things intellectually doesn't mean you're manifesting successfully, because manifestation isn't about knowledge. It's about frequency alignment. It's about what you're broadcasting electromagnetically. And most people, even after activation, are broadcasting completely misaligned frequencies. They're thinking abundance while feeling lack. They're visualizing success while carrying unworthiness wounds. They're affirming confidence while running safety shutdown programming. And the quantum field responds to the frequency, not the words. It responds to what you are, not what you say. This is why week 2 exists. Week 1 gave you awareness. Week 1 activated your systems. Week 1 showed you what's possible. But week 2 gives you mastery. Week 2 clears the blocks. Week 2 aligns your frequency. Week 2 makes manifestation actually work. Here's what most people don't realize about the work we did in week 1. The activation was real. The frequency upgrade was genuine. The consciousness expansion actually happened. But activation alone doesn't clear your subconscious programming. It doesn't heal your trauma patterns. It doesn't resolve your worthiness wounds. It simply turns on your ability to see these things. It activates your awareness of the blocks that were always there. And now that you're aware, now that you can see them, now that you recognize how they're sabotaging you, we can actually clear them. We can reprogram them. We can replace them with coherent frequency patterns that align with what you actually want to manifest. This is the difference between week 1 and week 2. Week 1 was about opening your eyes. Week 2 is about cleaning your lens. Week 1 was about turning on the system. Week 2 is about removing the viruses. Week 1 was about activation. Week 2 is about optimization. And I need you to understand something important before we go deeper. Week 2 is going to be harder than week 1. Week 1 was exciting. It was expansive. It was empowering. Week 2 is confrontational. It's uncomfortable. It requires you to face things you've been avoiding. It demands that you look at your shadow, that you acknowledge your wounds. that you admit where you're self-sabotaging. This isn't fun work. This isn't inspiring content. This is deep psychological and energetic clearing. This is where most people quit. They love the activation phase. They love feeling special and chosen. But when it comes time to actually clear their blocks, to face their trauma, to reprogram their subconscious, they suddenly disappear. They go back to surface-level manifestation content. They return to comfortable positive thinking. They choose familiar limitation over uncomfortable transformation. Don't be one of those people. You've come too far. You've invested too much. You've activated too deeply. Finish what you started. Complete week 2. Do the hard work. Because on the other side of this discomfort is everything you actually want. Let's start with the science that changes everything about how you understand manifestation. The HeartMath Institute has been researching electromagnetic fields generated by the human body for over 3 decades. And their findings completely revolutionize our understanding of how consciousness interacts with physical reality. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times stronger than the field generated by your brain. 5,000 times. This field is measurable up to 8 feet away from your body using sensitive magnetometers. And this field carries information. It broadcasts the emotional state of your heart, the coherence or chaos of your nervous system, the alignment or misalignment of your subconscious programming. This is not metaphysical theory. This is measured, documented, peer-reviewed science. Your body is literally a broadcasting station, and what you're broadcasting is your frequency signature. But here's where it gets interesting for manifestation purposes. The HeartMath research shows that when your heart rhythm patterns are coherent, meaning smooth and ordered rather than chaotic and erratic, your electromagnetic field becomes significantly more organized and powerful. During coherent states, the field extends further. It carries clearer information, and it has measurable effects on other people and even on random event generators in laboratory settings. This means when you're in heart coherence, you're not just feeling better emotionally. You're literally broadcasting a more powerful, more organized, more influential electromagnetic signal into the quantum field around you. And the quantum field responds to that signal. It reorganizes to match your broadcast. This is the actual mechanism behind manifestation. Not thoughts creating reality, not intentions manifesting outcomes, but electromagnetic frequency coherence causing quantum field reorganization. Now let me explain why your manifestations aren't working. You're thinking the right thoughts. You're saying the right affirmations. You're visualizing the right outcomes. But your electromagnetic field is broadcasting something completely different. Your conscious mind, which operates through your brain's prefrontal cortex, can hold one intention. It can focus on one desire. It can repeat one affirmation. But your subconscious mind, which operates through your limbic system and your heart's electromagnetic field, is running thousands of programs simultaneously. Programs installed during childhood. Programs created by trauma. Programs designed to keep you safe. Programs that were adaptive once but are now limiting. And these subconscious programs generate emotional frequencies that broadcast through your heart's electromagnetic field. Frequencies of fear, frequencies of unworthiness, frequencies of lack, frequencies of danger. And those frequencies are what the quantum field actually responds to. Think of it like this. Your conscious mind is like a tiny radio announcer speaking into a microphone. It can say whatever it wants. It can announce abundance. It can declare success. It can affirm confidence. But your subconscious mind is like a massive transmission tower, broadcasting 24/7. And if that tower is broadcasting fear while the announcer is speaking confidence, the quantum field receives the fear signal. Because the tower is 5,000 times more powerful than the microphone. This is the frequency mismatch problem. This is why affirmations don't work for most people. This is why vision boards sit on walls while lives stay the same. This is why people can do everything right consciously and still manifest everything wrong. Because they're addressing the announcer while ignoring the tower. They're working with the 5% while the 95% runs unchecked. Dr. Bruce Lipton's research in epigenetics demonstrates this perfectly. He shows that the subconscious mind operates at 40 million bits of data per second, while the conscious mind operates at only 40 bits per second. The subconscious is 1 million times more powerful in terms of information processing, and it's running programs that were installed before you were 7 years old. Programs you don't remember installing. Programs you're not consciously aware of. Programs that are completely misaligned with what you consciously want. And these programs generate your electromagnetic frequency. They create your emotional state. They determine your vibrational signature, and that signature is what manifests your reality, not your conscious desires, your subconscious frequency. So when you're trying to manifest a relationship but your subconscious carries a wound that says you're unlovable, your electromagnetic field broadcasts unlovable frequency. When you're trying to manifest money but your subconscious holds a program that says money is dangerous or scarce, your field broadcasts scarcity frequency. When you're trying to manifest success but your subconscious believes you're not worthy or capable, your field broadcasts unworthiness frequency. And the quantum field, which has no judgment and no preference, simply responds to what you're broadcasting. It gives you experiences that match your frequency. It collapses probabilities that align with your electromagnetic signature. It manifests circumstances that reflect your subconscious programming. This is why people repeat the same patterns, why they attract the same types of relationships, why they hit the same financial ceilings, why they recreate the same problems in different contexts. Because their subconscious frequency hasn't changed. Their electromagnetic broadcast is the same, and the universe keeps responding to that signal. Now let me introduce you to the 3 hidden frequency destroyers. These are the most common subconscious patterns that sabotage manifestation, and almost everyone carries at least one of these. Most people carry all 3. The first destroyer is trauma loop frequency. This is when your nervous system is stuck broadcasting the emotional signature of past pain. Something happened to you, something that hurt you, something that scared you, something that overwhelmed your system. And your nervous system, in an attempt to protect you, encoded that experience deeply. It created a program that constantly scans for similar threats. That maintains heightened alert status. That keeps broadcasting the frequency of that original trauma. Even though the event is over, even though the danger has passed, even though you're safe now, your electromagnetic field is still broadcasting trauma frequency, and that frequency attracts circumstances that match it, that trigger it, that recreate the original wound in new contexts. This is why people who experienced abandonment keep attracting people who leave. Why people who experienced betrayal keep attracting untrustworthy situations. Why people who experience scarcity keep recreating financial struggle. Not because they're cursed, not because the universe is punishing them, but because their nervous system is broadcasting trauma loop frequency, and the quantum field is responding accurately to that broadcast. The trauma isn't happening now, but the frequency is still transmitting, and as long as that frequency transmits, similar experiences will continue manifesting. This is not your fault. This is how nervous systems work. They're designed to remember danger, to stay alert to threats, to protect you from repeat harm. But in doing so, they trap you in frequency loops that perpetuate the very experiences you're trying to escape. The second destroyer is worthiness wound frequency. This is the deepest and most common block in human consciousness. Almost everyone carries some version of this wound. It was installed early, through conditional love, through criticism, through comparison, through experiences that taught you that you're only valuable when you perform, when you achieve, when you please others, when you're perfect. And that installed a core belief, a foundational program that says you're not enough, that you're fundamentally flawed, that you need to earn love and acceptance, that you're unworthy of good things. And this wound generates a specific electromagnetic frequency, a frequency of lack. A frequency of not enough. A frequency that broadcasts, I don't deserve this. And when you're broadcasting that frequency, the universe cannot give you what you desire, because your field is literally rejecting it. Your electromagnetic signature is saying no, while your conscious mind is saying yes. This is why people self-sabotage right before success. Why they push away love when it shows up. Why they create problems when things are going well. Why they feel uncomfortable receiving. Why they struggle to hold on to money. Why they apologize for taking up space. Because underneath their conscious desires is a subconscious frequency broadcasting unworthiness, and that frequency overrides everything. It doesn't matter how much you want something. It doesn't matter how hard you work for it. It doesn't matter how perfectly you visualize it. If your subconscious is broadcasting, I'm not worthy of this, your electromagnetic field will repel it, will block it, will sabotage it, will ensure it doesn't stabilize in your reality. The worthiness wound is the most insidious block, because it operates beneath conscious awareness, because it feels like truth rather than programming, because it's so deeply embedded that most people think it's just who they are, but it's not who you are. It's what was done to you. It's programming that was installed. And like all programming, it can be cleared. The third destroyer is safety shutdown frequency. This is when your nervous system decides that what you want is too dangerous to allow. Your subconscious is not interested in your dreams. It's interested in your survival. And if achieving what you want requires you to be visible, to take risks, to step outside your comfort zone, to face possible rejection or failure, your subconscious will shut it down. It will create resistance. It will generate fear. It will broadcast a frequency that says this is not safe, and that frequency will prevent manifestation, not because you can't have what you want, but because your nervous system has decided you shouldn't. This is why people procrastinate on important goals, why they feel paralyzed when opportunities appear, why they talk themselves out of taking action, why they create elaborate excuses, why they stay stuck in situations they hate, because their safety shutdown frequency is stronger than their desire frequency. Their nervous system's priority for survival overrides their conscious mind's desire for expansion. This shows up as chronic anxiety about success, as fear of being seen or judged, as resistance to putting yourself out there, as comfort zone addiction, as analysis paralysis, as perfectionism that prevents completion, as imposter syndrome that questions your capability. All of these are safety shutdown frequency patterns. All of these are your nervous system saying, I'd rather keep you small and safe than let you expand and risk. And as long as this frequency is broadcasting, manifestation will feel impossible, because every time you get close to what you want, your nervous system will activate the shutdown, will flood you with fear, will create internal resistance, will ensure you stay in the known zone, the safe zone, the limited zone, even though you consciously want expansion, even though you consciously desire growth. Your subconscious frequency of safety shutdown overpowers your conscious intention. If you're recognizing yourself in these three frequency destroyers, if you're seeing how your subconscious is sabotaging your manifestations, then you need to subscribe immediately, because week 2 is entirely focused on clearing these blocks. Every video this week gives you specific protocols for reprogramming your subconscious frequency, for healing trauma loops, for clearing worthiness wounds, for deactivating safety shutdown. These aren't just teachings. These are practical techniques you can use immediately. So subscribe now. Turn on notifications, because tomorrow we go even deeper into subconscious reprogramming, and you cannot afford to miss it. Now let's talk about frequency coherence versus frequency chaos, because understanding this distinction is crucial for manifestation mastery. The HeartMath Institute measures something called heart rate variability. This is the variation in time between each heartbeat, and what they've discovered is that the pattern of this variability reveals your emotional and energetic state. When you're in stress, fear, anxiety, frustration, or any negative emotional state, Your heart rate variability pattern becomes chaotic and erratic. The graph looks jagged and disordered, but when you're in appreciation, love, gratitude, peace, or any positive emotional state, your heart rate variability pattern becomes coherent and smooth. The graph looks like smooth rolling waves. And here's what matters for manifestation. When your heart rhythm is coherent, your electromagnetic field becomes organized and powerful. When your heart rhythm is chaotic, your electromagnetic field becomes disorganized and weak. Coherent frequency is like a laser beam. All the light waves are aligned, moving in the same direction, amplifying each other, creating focused power. Chaotic frequency is like a regular light bulb. The light waves scatter in all directions, canceling each other out, creating diffused weakness. When you're broadcasting coherent frequency, the quantum field receives a clear signal. It knows exactly what you're asking for. It can respond precisely. But when you're broadcasting chaotic frequency, the quantum field receives mixed signals, contradictory information, unclear requests, and it responds with mixed results. This is why some days manifestation feels easy and other days impossible. Because your frequency coherence is fluctuating. Some moments you're in coherent states, other moments you're in chaotic states, and your manifestation results reflect that inconsistency. Most people live in chronic frequency chaos without realizing it. They wake up and immediately check their phone, flooding their nervous system with information and stimulation. They scroll social media, comparing themselves to others, triggering inadequacy and envy. They consume news, activating fear and stress responses. They rush through their morning, never dropping into their body, never centering their energy, never establishing coherence. Then they go to work, where they face demands and deadlines, where they interact with difficult people, where they suppress their authentic feelings, where they operate from survival mode, and their heart rate variability stays chaotic all day. Their electromagnetic field broadcasts disorder continuously, and then they wonder why their visualization practice isn't working, why their affirmations feel empty, why manifestation seems like a lie. Because you cannot manifest from chaos. You cannot collapse desired timelines from incoherent frequency. The quantum field requires clear, organized, sustained signal, and chaos provides none of that. This is why positive thinking fails so consistently for most people. They're trying to think positive thoughts while their nervous system is in complete chaos, while their heart rhythm is erratic, while their electromagnetic field is broadcasting disorder. The thoughts are surface level. The frequency is foundational, and frequency always wins. You can think I am abundant 1,000 times, but if your heart is broadcasting fear and chaos, abundance cannot manifest, because the quantum field isn't listening to your words. It's responding to your electromagnetic signature, and your signature is chaotic. This doesn't mean positive thinking is useless. It means positive thinking without frequency coherence is insufficient. You need both. You need aligned thoughts and coherent electromagnetic broadcast. You need conscious intention and subconscious frequency alignment. That's what creates manifestation. That's what collapses desired timelines. That's what week 2 teaches you to achieve. Let me connect this back to everything you learned in week 1. In video 1, you recognized you were selected. You became aware of your observer nature. In video 2, you activated your pineal gland. Your quantum antenna turned on. In video 3, you learned to decode patterns. You started reading reality's language. In video 4, your identity became fluid. You released fixed self-concept. In video 5, you witnessed reality's flexibility. You saw the glitches in the matrix. In video 6, you learned timeline navigation. You gained the tools for reality shifting. In video 7, you integrated into 5th dimensional frequency. You stabilized your new baseline consciousness. All of that was real. All of that was necessary. All of that created foundation, but activation without clearing is incomplete. Awareness without reprogramming is insufficient. You turned on the systems. Now we remove the blocks. You expanded your consciousness. Now we align your frequency. Think of week 1 as installing new software. Week 2 is removing the viruses. Week 1 was upgrading your operating system. Week 2 is deleting the corrupted files. Week 1 gave you the tools. Week 2 clears the obstacles preventing you from using them. Because here's the truth. You can be fifth-dimensional consciousness. You can navigate timelines. You can collapse quantum possibilities. But if your subconscious is running trauma loops, worthiness wounds, and safety shutdown, your manifestations will stay blocked. Your frequency will stay misaligned. Your electromagnetic field will keep broadcasting the wrong signal. And the quantum field will keep giving you what you're broadcasting rather than what you're intending. This is why week 2 is not optional. This is why clearing work is essential. This is why we must address the hidden frequency destroyers before we can master manifestation. Now I'm going to teach you frequency diagnosis. This is how you identify what your specific blocks are. Because everyone's subconscious programming is unique. Everyone's trauma patterns are different. Everyone's frequency destroyers manifest in personal ways. So you need to know your specific sabotage patterns. Here's how to diagnose your frequency. First, identify an area where manifestation consistently fails for you. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's career success. Maybe it's health. Whatever area where you keep trying and keep failing, where you visualize and nothing changes, where you take action but hit walls, that's your diagnosis area. Second, ask yourself what you're consciously wanting in this area. Get specific. What's the desire? What's the goal? What are you trying to manifest? Write it down clearly. Third, close your eyes and bring that desire into your awareness. Really feel into having it. Imagine it's real right now, and notice what happens in your body. This is where the truth reveals itself. If your subconscious is aligned with your desire, you'll feel expansion, excitement, peace, rightness. But if your subconscious is misaligned, you'll feel contraction, anxiety, doubt, fear, discomfort, resistance. That feeling is your frequency mismatch. That sensation is your subconscious broadcasting a different signal than your conscious intention. Now go deeper. Ask that uncomfortable feeling what it's protecting you from. What's the fear underneath? What's the wound driving it? What's the trauma creating it? And listen, your subconscious will tell you. It will show you images. It will give you memories. It will reveal the original programming. This is frequency diagnosis. This is how you identify your specific blocks, your personal frequency destroyers, the unique patterns sabotaging your manifestations. Most people never do this work. They keep trying new manifestation techniques. They keep jumping to different teachers. They keep searching for the magic formula, but they never look at their actual frequency. They never diagnose their subconscious blocks. They never identify their specific sabotage patterns. And so they stay stuck. They keep broadcasting misaligned frequency. They keep manifesting unwanted results. They keep wondering why nothing works. But you're not going to be one of those people. Because now you know. Now you understand. Now you have the diagnostic tool. And over the next 6 days, we're going to systematically clear every block you identify. We're going to reprogram every misaligned pattern. We're going to install new coherent frequency. We're going to align your subconscious with your conscious desires. And when that alignment happens, manifestation becomes effortless. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally broadcasting the right signal. Right now, I want you to leave a comment below that says exactly this. I'm ready to clear my frequency blocks. Write those words, because when you do, you're making a declaration. You're committing to the clearing work. You're saying yes to week 2's deeper protocols. So pause right now. Scroll down. Leave that comment. I'm ready to clear my frequency blocks. Then come back and we'll continue. Now let me teach you the Coherence Reset Protocol. This is a 6-step process for identifying your dominant frequency broadcast, clearing destroyer patterns, and installing new coherent frequency. This protocol is based on HeartMath Institute's research combined with subconscious reprogramming techniques and quantum field alignment principles. You're going to use this protocol daily throughout week 2. And by the end of the week, your electromagnetic field will be broadcasting completely different information. Your frequency will be aligned with your desires, and your manifestations will start appearing. This is not theory. This is practical consciousness technology. This is how you actually shift your frequency at the foundational level. Step 1 is frequency diagnosis. You identify your dominant broadcast in the specific area you want to manifest. Sit quietly in a space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Bring your awareness into your heart center. Not your physical heart, but your energetic heart center in the middle of your chest. Now think about the thing you're trying to manifest. The relationship, the money, the success, the health, whatever it is. And as you hold that desire in your awareness, scan your body for sensations. Notice what you feel. Is there expansion or contraction? Lightness or heaviness? Peace or anxiety? Excitement or fear? Your body is showing you your current frequency. If you feel positive sensations, your frequency is aligned. If you feel negative sensations, your frequency is misaligned. And those negative sensations point directly to your frequency destroyer. Stay with the uncomfortable sensation. Don't push it away. Don't judge it. Just observe it with curiosity. Where in your body do you feel it most strongly? What's the quality of the sensation? Tight? Heavy? Cold? Sharp? Describe it to yourself. Now ask that sensation a question. What are you protecting me from? And wait for the answer. It might come as words. It might come as images. It might come as memories. It might come as knowing. Your subconscious will show you the original wound, the trauma that created this frequency, the belief that's broadcasting this signal. Write down everything you receive. This is your frequency diagnosis. This is the block we're about to clear. Step 2 is heart-brain coherence practice. This is the foundation of frequency shifting. You cannot clear blocks or install new programming while your nervous system is in chaos. You must first create coherence. Here's the technique that HeartMath has proven through thousands of studies. Place your hand on your heart center. Begin breathing slowly and deeply. Inhale for 5 counts. Exhale for 5 counts. Do this for at least 2 minutes. As you breathe, imagine the breath moving in and out through your heart center. Not through your nose, through your heart. Visualize this clearly. Now as you continue this heart-focused breathing, bring up a feeling of appreciation or gratitude. Think of something or someone you genuinely appreciate. A person you love. A pet. A beautiful moment in nature. Something that makes your heart feel warm. And let that feeling fill your chest as you breathe. This simple practice creates immediate measurable coherence in your heart rate variability. Within 2 to 3 minutes, your heart rhythm pattern shifts from chaotic to coherent. Your electromagnetic field organizes. Your nervous system calms. Your brain waves synchronize with your heart rhythm. This is called psychophysiological coherence, and it's the optimal state for reprogramming your subconscious, for clearing frequency blocks, for installing new patterns. You must practice this coherence technique before attempting any of the other steps, because coherence is the foundation. Coherence is the state that allows transformation. Coherence is what makes reprogramming actually stick. Do not skip this step. Do not rush through it. Spend at least 5 minutes establishing deep heart-brain coherence before moving to step 3. But let me explain exactly what's happening in your body during this practice. Because understanding the mechanism makes it more powerful. When you focus your attention on your heart and breathe rhythmically, you're activating your parasympathetic nervous system. This is the branch of your autonomic nervous system responsible for rest, repair, and regeneration. Most people spend most of their day in sympathetic activation, fight or flight, stress response, survival mode. And in that state, your heart rhythm is erratic. Your brain waves are scattered. Your electromagnetic field is disorganized. But when you activate parasympathetic response through heart-focused breathing, everything shifts. Your heart rhythm becomes ordered. Your brain waves become synchronized. Your electromagnetic field becomes coherent and powerful. The HeartMath Institute has documented that during coherent states, the heart sends different signals to the brain than during chaotic states. These signals travel through the vagus nerve, through hormonal systems, through electromagnetic field interactions, and they literally change brain function. During coherence, your prefrontal cortex activates more fully. This is the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and access to higher cognitive functions. During chaos, your amygdala dominates. This is your fear center, your survival brain, your reactive system. So when you create heart-brain coherence, you're not just calming yourself. You're literally upgrading which parts of your brain are online. You're shifting from survival consciousness to creative consciousness, from reactive mode to responsive mode, from chaos to coherence. Additionally, the appreciation or gratitude component is crucial. It's not enough to just breathe rhythmically. You must generate a positive, elevated emotion, because emotions are frequency generators. Fear generates chaotic, low frequency. Anger generates chaotic, aggressive frequency, but appreciation generates coherent, high frequency. Gratitude generates organized, elevated frequency. Love generates the most coherent frequency of all. When you combine rhythmic, heart-focused breathing with genuine appreciation, you're creating optimal electromagnetic coherence. You're broadcasting the clearest, strongest, most organized signal possible, and that signal is what makes reprogramming work. That frequency is what allows your subconscious to receive new programming. Without coherence, your subconscious is locked, defended, resistant to change. But in coherence, it opens. It becomes receptive. It allows transformation. This is why meditation practices across all traditions focus on breath and heart, why ancient wisdom taught heart-centered awareness, why modern science now proves what mystics always knew. The heart is not just a pump. It's an intelligence center. It's an electromagnetic generator. It's a quantum antenna. And when you learn to create coherence intentionally, you gain access to states of consciousness and abilities that seem impossible from chaotic states. You can reprogram decades of conditioning in minutes. You can clear trauma that's been stuck for years. You can install new frequency patterns that completely transform your reality. But only in coherence. Only when your heart and brain are synchronized. Only when your electromagnetic field is organized and powerful. So treat this step with the respect it deserves. Don't rush through it thinking it's just relaxation. This is the most important step in the entire protocol. This is the foundation that makes everything else possible. Spend real time here. 5 minutes minimum. 10 minutes is better. And practice it multiple times throughout your day. Not just when you're doing the clearing protocol, but as a regular practice. Morning coherence sets your frequency for the day. Midday coherence resets you when chaos accumulates. Evening coherence prepares you for deep integration during sleep. Make heart-brain coherence your default state. Make it your baseline. Make it who you are. Because when you operate from coherence consistently, manifestation becomes natural. Reality responds to your broadcast, and life flows rather than struggles. Step 3 is frequency clearing. This is where you release the destroyer pattern you identified in Step 1. While maintaining heart-brain coherence, bring your awareness back to that uncomfortable sensation in your body, the one connected to your manifestation block. Feel it fully without resistance. Now imagine that sensation has a color. What color is it? Dark red? Gray, black? Brown? Whatever color appears is correct. Now imagine that color beginning to move. See it flowing out of your body with each exhale, breathing in clear light, breathing out the dark color. With each breath, more of that blocked frequency releases, more of that old pattern dissolves. Continue this for at least 3 minutes. You're literally clearing the electromagnetic signature of that trauma or wound from your field. As you breathe out the old frequency, speak directly to your subconscious. Say these words out loud or silently. Thank you for protecting me. I know you created this pattern to keep me safe. I appreciate your service, but I don't need this protection anymore. I'm safe now. I'm ready to release this pattern. I give you permission to let it go. This communication is crucial. Your subconscious created these blocks as protection, and it won't release them unless it knows you're safe without them, unless it receives permission to let go. So speak to it with compassion, with gratitude, with understanding. Acknowledge the original purpose. Thank the pattern for its service, and consciously choose to release it now. You'll feel the shift. You'll sense the release. Your body will tell you when the clearing is complete. The sensation will soften. The heaviness will lift. The contraction will ease. That's how you know Step 3 is finished. Step 4 is new frequency installation. Now that you've cleared the old pattern, there's space for new programming. You must consciously install the frequency you want to broadcast. This is not affirmations. This is not visualization. This is direct electromagnetic imprinting. While still in heart-brain coherence, imagine the feeling of already having what you desire, not imagining the circumstances, not visualizing the details, just feeling the emotional frequency of the fulfilled desire. If you want love, feel loved. If you want abundance, feel abundant. If you want success, feel successful. If you want health, feel healthy. Get into the actual emotional frequency, the electromagnetic signature of that reality. As you feel this new frequency, imagine it as a color. What color is the feeling of your fulfilled desire? Gold, green, white, blue? Whatever color appears is your new frequency signature. Now imagine that color filling your entire body, breathing it in, letting it saturate every cell. See it expanding into your electromagnetic field. 8 feet in all directions. Your entire field now broadcasts this new frequency, this new color, this new electromagnetic signature. Spend at least 5 minutes saturating yourself in this new frequency. You're literally reprogramming your subconscious, installing new electromagnetic patterns, creating new broadcast signatures. The longer you hold this coherent, elevated emotional state, the deeper the imprinting becomes, the more permanent the new frequency installation becomes. Step 5 is field testing. This is where you verify that your frequency shift actually happened, because you need feedback. You need confirmation. You need to know that the protocol worked. Here's how to test your field. Immediately after completing steps 1 through 4, go back to the original desire you were working with. Bring it into your awareness again. Think about having that thing. Imagine it's real. And notice what happens in your body now. If the coherence reset worked properly, you should feel completely different than you did in step 1. Where you felt contraction before, you should feel expansion now. Where you felt fear before, you should feel peace now. Where you felt resistance before, you should feel flow now. This shift in your internal response is proof that your frequency changed. Your electromagnetic field is broadcasting different information. Your subconscious programming has been updated. The block has been cleared, a new frequency has been installed. But the real field testing happens over the next 24 to 48 hours. Pay attention to what shows up in your external reality. Because when your frequency shifts, reality responds immediately. You'll notice synchronicities appearing, signs showing up, unexpected opportunities arriving, people saying or doing things that directly relate to your desire, resources appearing out of nowhere, doors opening that were previously closed. This is the quantum field responding to your new broadcast. This is reality reorganizing to match your shifted frequency. Document everything you notice. Write down every synchronicity. Record every sign. Track every shift. Because this documentation strengthens the new programming. It tells your subconscious that the new frequency is working. It reinforces the pattern. It makes the shift more permanent. And if you don't notice shifts within 48 hours, that tells you something too. It means the clearing wasn't complete. It means there's another layer underneath. It means you need to repeat the protocol and go deeper. Sometimes frequency destroyers have multiple layers. The first clearing removes surface programming. But underneath is older trauma, deeper wounds, more fundamental beliefs, and you need to clear those too. So if your field test shows minimal change, don't get discouraged. Don't decide the protocol doesn't work. Simply recognize you need to go deeper. Repeat steps 1 through 4. Ask your subconscious to show you the next layer. And clear that. Keep going until your field test shows genuine shift. Until your internal response to your desire is completely positive. Until your external reality starts reflecting your new frequency. Step 6 is maintenance. This is the part most people skip. And it's why their frequency shifts don't last. They do the clearing once. They feel better temporarily. And then they go back to their regular life. Back to their regular patterns. Back to their regular frequency chaos. And within days or weeks, the old programming reinstalls itself. The frequency destroyers return. The blocks reappear. And they're back where they started. This is not because the clearing didn't work. This is because they didn't maintain the new frequency. They didn't practice daily coherence. They didn't reinforce the new programming. They didn't protect their field from returning to chaos. Maintenance is essential. Maintenance is what makes temporary shifts permanent. Maintenance is what transforms clearing into embodiment. Here's your daily maintenance protocol. Every single morning before you do anything else, spend 15 minutes in heart-brain coherence. Use the technique from step 2, heart-focused breathing. Appreciation or gratitude feeling. Get your nervous system into coherent state. Then spend 5 minutes feeling into your new frequency, the one you installed in step 4. Saturate yourself in that color, that feeling, that electromagnetic signature. Make it real in your body. Broadcast it through your field. This morning practice sets your frequency for the entire day. It tells your subconscious what signal to maintain. It establishes your electromagnetic baseline. Do not skip this. Do not rush through this. 15 minutes minimum. Non-negotiable. Throughout your day, set reminders every 2 to 3 hours. When the reminder goes off, stop whatever you're doing. Take 60 seconds. Check your frequency. Notice what you're feeling. Notice your heart rhythm. Are you in coherence or chaos? Are you broadcasting your new frequency or defaulting to old patterns? If you're in coherence, acknowledge that and continue. If you've slipped into chaos, take 2 minutes right then. Do the heart-focused breathing. Return to appreciation. Reset your frequency. This frequent checking prevents you from staying in chaos for extended periods. It keeps you conscious of your broadcast. It maintains your new programming throughout the day. Every evening before sleep, spend 10 minutes reviewing your day. What synchronicities appeared? What signs showed up? What shifted in your external reality? What moments reflected your new frequency? Acknowledge all of it. Celebrate all of it. Write it down. This evening review reinforces the new programming. It shows your subconscious that the new frequency is creating desired results, and it prepares your system to integrate the shifts during sleep. Your subconscious does deep reprogramming work while you sleep, but only if you give it clear direction. The evening review provides that direction. It tells your subconscious what patterns to strengthen, what frequency to maintain, what programming to make permanent. Additionally, protect your field from frequency chaos. Be very intentional about what you expose yourself to, the people you spend time with, the media you consume, the environments you enter, the conversations you participate in. All of these affect your electromagnetic field. All of these influence your frequency. If you're spending time with people who are chronically in chaos, their field affects yours. If you're consuming fear-based news and social media, that chaos enters your field. If you're in toxic environments, those frequencies penetrate your broadcast. You cannot maintain coherent frequency while constantly exposing yourself to chaos. You must curate your environment. You must protect your field. You must choose consciously what you allow into your electromagnetic space. This doesn't mean you avoid all challenging situations. This doesn't mean you never encounter difficulty. This means you're conscious about it. You're intentional about it. You prepare your field before entering chaotic environments. You reset your frequency after exposure. You don't let external chaos become your internal state. You maintain your coherent broadcast regardless of external circumstances. This is advanced frequency mastery. This is what separates people who manifest consistently from people who manifest occasionally. This is what week 2 is teaching you. Not just how to clear blocks once, but how to maintain coherent frequency permanently, how to protect your broadcast, how to embody your new programming, how to make temporary shifts permanent transformation. Tomorrow in day 9, we're going deep into subconscious reprogramming. We're going to talk about the hidden operating system running your life, the programs installed before you were 7 years old, the beliefs you don't remember learning, the patterns you can't consciously access, and I'm going to give you specific techniques for rewriting those programs, for installing new operating system, for becoming the programmer rather than the program. This is where week 2 gets really powerful. This is where transformation becomes permanent. You cannot miss day 9. It builds directly on what you learned today. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure notifications are on, because tomorrow changes everything. Now let me explain why week 2 is harder than week 1 but also more powerful. Week 1 was activation. It was exciting. It was expansive. It felt good. You were learning new concepts, discovering new abilities, opening to new possibilities. But week 2 is clearing. It's confrontational. It's uncomfortable. It requires you to face your shadow, to acknowledge your wounds, to admit your sabotage patterns, to look at the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. This doesn't feel good. This isn't inspiring. This is deep psychological work. This is where your ego will resist, where your defense mechanisms will activate, where part of you will want to quit. And that's exactly why week 2 is more powerful than week 1. Because activation without clearing is temporary. Awareness without reprogramming is insufficient. You can expand your consciousness, but if you don't clear your blocks, you'll contract back down. You can activate your abilities, but if you don't reprogram your frequency, you'll sabotage your results. Week 2 is where real transformation happens. Week 1 opened the door. Week 2 walks through it. Week 1 turned on the light. Week 2 cleans the room. Week 1 gave you the tools. Week 2 removes the obstacles preventing you from using them. This is the difference between people who have temporary spiritual experiences and people who achieve permanent consciousness transformation. The ones who transform permanently do the clearing work. They face their shadow. They reprogram their subconscious. They clear their frequency destroyers. They install new coherent patterns, and they maintain those patterns daily. This is not glamorous work. This is not easy work. But this is the work that actually changes your life. This is the work that makes manifestation effortless. This is the work that aligns your frequency with your desires permanently. So if you're feeling resistance right now, if part of you wants to skip the clearing protocols, if you're tempted to go back to surface-level manifestation content, recognize that as your ego protecting the old patterns. Recognize that as your subconscious resisting change. Recognize that as exactly why you need to do this work. The resistance is proof that you're touching the real blocks. The discomfort is evidence that you're reaching the actual programming. Push through it. Stay committed. Complete week 2. Because on the other side of this clearing work is everything you actually want. On the other side of this discomfort is effortless manifestation. On the other side of this shadow work is permanent frequency alignment, and that's worth any temporary discomfort. Let's integrate everything we covered today. You learned that your electromagnetic field is what actually creates your reality, not your thoughts, not your affirmations, not your visualizations, your frequency broadcast. And that broadcast is controlled by your subconscious programming, not your conscious intentions. The HeartMath research proves that your heart generates an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain, and that field extends 8 feet around you, carrying information about your emotional state and subconscious beliefs. The quantum field responds to this electromagnetic signature. It gives you circumstances that match your frequency. And if your frequency is misaligned with your desires, your manifestations will stay blocked. No matter how much you visualize, no matter how many affirmations you repeat, no matter how positive you try to think, you discovered the 3 hidden frequency destroyers. Trauma loop frequency that keeps broadcasting past pain. Worthiness wound frequency that says you're not enough. And safety shutdown frequency that decides your desires are too dangerous. These subconscious patterns sabotage 90% of manifestation attempts because they generate electromagnetic broadcasts that contradict conscious intentions. And frequency always wins over thoughts. Always. You learned how to diagnose your specific frequency blocks, how to identify which destroyer patterns are running in your system, how to recognize the mismatch between what you want consciously and what you're broadcasting subconsciously. This diagnosis is essential because you can't clear what you can't see. You can't reprogram what you're not aware of. Consciousness precedes transformation, and you receive the Coherence Reset Protocol. 6 steps for clearing frequency destroyers and installing new coherent patterns. Frequency diagnosis to identify your blocks. Heart-brain coherence to create optimal reprogramming state. Frequency clearing to release old patterns. New frequency installation to program desired broadcast. Field testing to verify the shift happened. And maintenance to make temporary changes permanent. This protocol is based on proven science combined with quantum consciousness principles. This is not theory. This is practical technology for electromagnetic field reprogramming. Use it daily. Practice it consistently. Make it your foundation for week 2. Remember that week 2 is harder than week 1 because it requires shadow work. It demands that you face uncomfortable truths, that you acknowledge your wounds, that you admit your sabotage patterns. Your ego will resist this. Your defense mechanisms will activate. Part of you will want to quit. But that resistance is proof you're touching real blocks. That discomfort is evidence you're reaching actual programming. Push through it. Stay committed. Because week 2 is more powerful than week 1 precisely because it's harder. Activation without clearing is temporary. Awareness without reprogramming is insufficient. Week 1 opened possibilities. Week 2 removes obstacles. Week 1 gave you tools. Week 2 clears the blocks preventing you from using them. This is where real transformation happens. This is where manifestation becomes effortless. This is where temporary shifts become permanent embodiment. You are not broken. Your manifestations aren't failing because you're doing something wrong. They're failing because you have subconscious frequency misalignment. And now you know how to fix that. Now you have the protocol. Now you understand the mechanism. Over the next 6 days, we're going systematically through every layer of subconscious programming. We're clearing every frequency destroyer. We're reprogramming every misaligned pattern. We're installing coherent electromagnetic broadcast. And by the end of week 2, your frequency will be completely aligned with your desires. Your field will broadcast what you actually want, and the quantum field will respond accordingly. Manifestation will become natural, effortless, inevitable, because your frequency will finally match your intentions. Tomorrow we go deeper into the subconscious operating system. We explore the programs running beneath your awareness, the beliefs installed before you could think critically, the patterns you can't consciously access, and I give you techniques for rewriting those programs completely. Day 9 is crucial. It builds on today's foundation. It takes clearing to the next level. You cannot miss it. So I'll see you tomorrow, in Day 9, in deeper layers, in permanent reprogramming. Week 2 is just beginning, and everything is about to change. Stay committed, stay consistent, stay conscious of your frequency, because you're not just learning manifestation anymore. You're becoming a master of electromagnetic reality creation. You're learning to broadcast coherent frequency. You're aligning your subconscious with your desires, and that changes everything. This is Conscious Observer. Observe your frequency. Change your reality.